Hey everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Ben Trades, and in today's video we're going to start off the 2025 mentorship. But before we get started, I just want to give a huge shout out to Top Step. Big thanks to Michael Paddock for making it happen, and to Nick Doby and John Dorothy for being a part of this beautiful experience. It was absolutely awesome and it was a complete blast. Today I'm kicking off the 2025 mentorship series. Whether you're new at trading or not, it does not matter because we can always improve and get better. So if you're just trying to level up your game or looking to get better, this series is perfect for you. So let's dive into the 2025 mentorship series. Alright, so if you have not yet watched the 2024 mentorship, you have to go back because you're going to be very confused and you're not going to be aware about certain rules. So make sure to go back and watch the 2024 mentorship before you come and watch the 2025 mentorship. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more advanced. But in that scenario, you still want to be caught up on what you've missed. So we're on the 4 hourly time frame. And where do we go? Where do we start? So first of all, I want you to start trading from 9:30 to 11:30. That's it. Especially if you're new. I think that time frame, the fast markets are going to be good for you. Sometimes the fast markets are a little bit like overwhelming. But the thing is, you have to be in that overwhelming state because that's where the most amount of money is made as well. So if you can just adjust yourself with over time, it's going to be better for you. You know, you start going to the gym today, you're going to see the results later. So what we're going to do is, remember, highs and lows. We're going to mark off liquidity. That's your number one step. Now, if you're bearish on the daily, you want to see buy side getting swept on the higher time frames, like the hourly, 4 hourly. But if you're bullish, you want to see sell side liquidity being swept. For an example, let's take a look here. Boom, sell side was swept, and then price started moving higher. So that's what we're going to see in a bullish market. Now, remember, last mentorship we were talking about sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiencies, and buy side imbalances and sell side inefficiencies. So that is very crucial. Now, another thing, if you take a look, it's been happening a lot in a bullish market. Sell side gets swept, price pushes higher. It's always like this in a bullish market, and vice versa on a bearish market. If we take a look here, they're sweeping the highs and then dropping lower. So that's what you want to see, significant major liquidity being swept on the hourly and on the 4 hourly. Now the thing is, how do I get the perfect leg? How do I get in that good move after the sweep has been finished? After it's done doing its thing? Well, market structure. But another thing you could utilize, and it's very important because it's time and price, not price and time. So we got to use time. So I'm going to give you the times, okay? So if you're looking for a reversal, okay, a reversal, you want to be trading at 10 to 11. That's the reversal time. Exactly at 10 to 11. Not 9:30, not 9:45, not 9:50. At 10. I see a lot of people entering before. They'll get stop hunted. Then it's going to rally their direction. Wait for that hourly to close. And also use market structure. If you see that there's a huge break of structure on the higher time frames with a huge FEG, the probabilities become a bit lower, but it can still work out as long as you have other criteria aligned with you. Daily's bullish, weekly's bullish. Fundamentals are aligned with the direction which you are looking for. Perfect example, if you watch my stream, I took a huge buy when the market was dumping. Why? Because Donald Trump was coming in. He said, I quote, very positive news. I have to say that before the conference. Positive or negative? He said positive. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's good for the States. Why is that good for NASDAQ? Because NASDAQ is made of businesses. So immediately I thought about buys. I did not look for shorts whatsoever going into that day. They sweep the sell side. They touch into a FEG right there, which is your buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. And right there, I took a buy, right at the low. Look, right here. And aimed for that high. That was a good setup. So the way I timed the exact execution was time and price. The time, which was 10 to 11, reversal as it was dumping, price pushes higher from 10 to 11. Now, where in which zone was it? Under the sell side liquidity with an FNG alignment. So that gives you 2 supports, which makes it a very strong zone. So that's what we're going to be practicing in this mentorship series. And optimal trading entries. Because that's the most difficult. Optimal, where do I enter? How do I enter? We're going to use order blocks, Fibonacci's, and we're going to use inverse for value gaps. And just to prove to you that time and price is the most important, not price and time, time and price. Look at this. Price reverses exactly at 11. Now look at this. 1028. And we're just going to keep going back. Look at that. 1034. High at 11. Look at that. Low exactly at 10. Look at that right there. Look at this. I love this. This one is lovely. Look at this. Exactly at 10. Look at that time. And it does like a crazy move to the upside. So, time and price. Not price with time. Okay? Do we understand that? Beautiful. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go with the optimal trading entry. And you might ask, why jump straight to the optimal trading entry? Because most of the things that I have already taught are already in the last year's mentorship. So I'm going to teach you optimal trading entries, which I haven't really taught. You understand? Okay, you get me? All right, perfect. Also, I have to put this in real quick. If you start pattern trading these times, okay, you're going to get liquidated. Like your whole account's going to get blown. So it's important not to trade patterns, okay? You got to have confluences. Like you got to have an actual thing that makes sense. Like to stop pattern trading lows and highs and just hope for the best. Is your daily going higher? Does the daily have a swing low like I talked about previously? Is it going for a major liquidity? Is the fundamentals there? Are we bullish? Are we supposed to be bullish? Like I see so many people pattern trading. Like, oh, I just marked off the high on the hourly. I just marked off the low on the hourly. No FEG, no nothing. Just reversal. Oh, it's 10. And then they wonder why they get liquidated. And they wonder why it keeps going the other direction when it should be going the other direction, when it should not be going that direction. And what are you doing? Like, dude, stop pattern trading these things. You gotta have context. Context, okay? Oh my god, you gotta have context, okay? We gotta have probabilities going. If you just pattern trade, it's just gonna be bad. Don't do that. So, context is number 1. Don't just mark off swing lows. Don't just mark off swing highs. Don't just wait for the liquidity to be swept and look for a reversal because you think it's a good idea and everything's aligned. Dude, they make it seem aligned so you get liquidated. That's like the mass psychology of the whole market. You start looking at these patterns, like these candles. Okay, well, that's the FEG he was talking about. No. Context. Perfect way to look at this is the mechanical approach. Look at it as mechanical. You can literally get rid of the candlesticks at this point. Just look at it as a mechanical approach. Does it make sense? And another thing is, don't just... If you're looking for shorts and it takes out the sell side liquidity, don't just look for buys. Who says it can't keep going lower? So be dualistic. There's a great book about that. I even made an episode. Anyways, be dualistic. Just because it dropped 100 points, who says it can't drop another 100 points? If it drops 1,000 points, who says it can't drop another 1,000 points? So, in that sense, don't just be like, okay, it's 10 a.m., it's 11 a.m., it should reverse here. No. Okay? No. No, dude. That's not what it means. Alright, I just had to get that out of the way, because people are going to lose their accounts if they don't freaking listen to me. Alright. Alright, so figure out where the daily's going. That's step number 1. Now, step number 2, according to that, try to find the narrative, right? When technically the bias is still on the 4-hourly and the hourly. So mark off the liquidity, which you think is going to get reversed. And for highest probability setups, you want a sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, or a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, with liquidity resting above it. Sweeps those, and then obviously with the time and the price, you look for that continuation or that reversal. And it could be a continuation or it could be a complete reversal depending on the higher time frames. So you know what I mean? It's just you gotta have context. Now, you don't have to have resting lows or liquidity to get into a trade. You could use the sell sign imbalance, buy sign efficiency. Let's just call it SIBI or busy from now on, okay? Because it's a little bit shorter. So you could have just an FEG. For an example, here we did sweep lows, so technically that's still liquidity. But in this scenario, you could just use the FEG. A lot of times this happens here as well. You know what I mean? And remember what I said, if there's multiple FEGs, you go up a time frame. I'm gonna stop covering things from the last video, so I'm just gonna really get into the context here. So time and price is very important. Now order blocks, remember, so we can find that continuation. The hardest part is trying to find that liquidity. So we're gonna drop down to the 15-minute time frame. So I have some highs and lows. So these are good liquidities. Liquidity. Now, especially if we have an FEG under here on the higher time frames. Boom, 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 boom. Then you have a higher probability setup. So let's go with the optimal trading entries. So for the optimal trading entries, for the inverse fair value gap, I want you to use the 2-minute time frame, the 3-minute time frame, the 4-minute time frame, and the 5-minute time frame. That's it. That's it. Okay, I don't want you to use the 1-minute time frame. If you've noticed, I didn't mention the 1-minute time frame for the inverse FEGs. Why? Because you're gonna get stopped out a lot. And let's see how we can validate a perfect inverse fair value gap. Because my inverse might not be the same inverse that you're using, or the ones that other people are using. It might be, who knows? So I'm going to give you inverse fair value gaps with no context. But if you start pattern trading inverse fair value gaps, just because you see the criteria that I have give the optimal trading entry for, you're going to get liquidated. It's that simple. Sometimes you might get lucky, it might work, but if you don't have context with it and you're just using it to trade, you will not succeed. You know, maybe once or twice, but your win rate is going to be completely awful and your RRs are going to be even worse. So don't use them without context. So the optimal trading entries I'm giving you is not to be used as trades. So they're not your trades. They're the ways you enter your trades. So that's the difference. They're not your trades, they're the way you enter your trades. So we're going to get started with the low probability inverses. So when price takes a long time to inverse a FEG, like we see here, 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candle, which is 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes before we get that full inverse. All right, so this is a perfect inverse. We only took 2 candles to break it, 1 and 2. And we break the low. You see that low of the wick and the open? We break it, we go under it. Nice little break structure as well. And you can enter right there as soon as it closes. And if the impulse is big enough, you can put your SL right above the open instead of putting it above the swing high. Now, if it's big enough, long enough, most of the time you're going to get a retracement. So sometimes it's good putting a limit order somewhere around this box. That's if it impulses. That's a good high probability inverse. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's very simple. You could literally rewatch the video until you understand it. Inverses the whole, so the candle comes in, inverses the whole thing, breaks the open and the wick itself. That's a good inverse. You can put a limit order right from the previous FEG, or you can enter at the closure. That's a good optimal trading entry for a trade. And you can put the stop loss above the high. All right, so that's a short little video right there, just explaining what the inverse is and how time and price are very important. If you want to see part 2, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and make sure to share it with your friends so they can make money as well. Until next time.